Hey there viewer, Ron speaking, and welcome to another Draw and Discuss. Today we're drawing and discussing something that was a major part of my childhood, Angry Birds. See, as of making this video, the movie from 2016, about 10 years ago as of now, has become the biggest meme gold mine I have ever seen from anything. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about this movie, or at least was for a while, and arguing over whether or not it's left or right-wing propaganda, when in reality it's just a dumb but funny enough movie. But that's kind of blended to the franchise as a whole, getting a lot more attention than it used to in a couple years back, which is weird to think about because it used to be the biggest thing in the world and then fell off the planet, and now everyone's talking about it again. So all of this kind of got me thinking about my time with the series, how I first learning about it, becoming the biggest Angry Birds fan, then getting annoyed in the direction it was going, especially with the movie, and then falling off of it, and then kind of getting back into it as just a more casual enjoyment of the series. So this video will just be kind of me reminiscing on my time with the series, and my opinions on where it was at the time, and the direction it's headed, and what I personally think the future holds for this series. This won't be a very long video. I know my last Draw and Discuss on Glitch Productions was a little long. This one, I just kind of wanted to talk about my nostalgia for the series. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, let's go back in time to 2011. I was in 2nd grade, barely had any real friends, but around that time, I started noticing the kids, especially the boys in my class, having these t-shirts of these strange, flightless, limbless birds on them. Eventually, I asked one of them what the heck this thing was, and they said, "Oh, it's Angry Birds," and I had no idea what they were talking about. But it became one of those things at my school that was so popular that the teachers were getting annoyed by it and started banning certain aspects of it. I don't know if they were worried about it promoting solving your problems with violence, or if it was just so popular that they got sick of seeing it everywhere. But yeah, the teachers started kind of cracking down on the Angry Birds stuff. Like, I don't think the t-shirts were banned. I remember one kid brought in one of those board games. I think it was the On Thin Ice one. That thing was awesome. But yeah, the teachers started getting annoyed by it. And then one day, my mom just out of nowhere had downloaded the game on her phone, and I don't think she realized the Pandora's box she had just opened in that moment. Once I tried it, me and as well as my sister were hooked on it. It was like crack to our little brains at that point. All of a sudden, every time after school, after my mom was done with her important stuff, we were like, "Can we play Angry Birds? Can we play Angry Birds?" And I think she just begrudgingly said yes after a while. I don't know. Again, I have to wonder what exactly her reaction to all this was, because I had just had a Monster Jam phase right before this. So I'm assuming she just understood that this was the next thing I was going to be super into. Honestly, I should really I really want to make a video just all my childhood obsessions, because it is weird some of the stuff I was into back then at the same time. Eventually, I'm assuming my mom got annoyed with us needing to borrow her phone all the time because, you know, she has important work stuff on there. So one day, I don't know how she afforded this, but she got me, my older sister, and my younger brother tablets, like Samsung tablets. Presumably, this is so we could play all the Angry Birds we want without needing to borrow her phone. Looking back, I don't know how good of a parenting decision that was, or even a financial decision, but that happened. There's nothing we can do about it now. Anyway, once I got my hands on that, the floodgates were open. I downloaded every single Angry Birds game I could. The original Angry Birds Seasons, which was my favorite because it introduced Bubbles, which is my favorite Angry Bird, and I will still die on that hill. Angry Birds Space, Angry Birds Rio, and then by that point, new games were coming out. We got Angry Birds Star Wars, and I didn't even care about Star Wars, but it's attached to Angry Birds, so I knew that was something I liked. So that's the only Star Wars media I engaged with as a kid, and the only one I really have any knowledge of now. And then they were getting spin-off games like Angry Birds Go and Angry Birds Epic. There was a cartoon that was coming out, Angry Birds Toons, which was everything I wanted. I just wanted a cool cartoon series based on these, because they used to have those big cinematic trailers that were the closest thing we had to Angry Birds cartoon. It was, man, it was a time to be alive for an Angry Birds fan. Now, it wasn't just Angry Birds. Around that point, I was also getting into every other mobile game on the market, or every other big one, like Cut the Rope, and Jetpack Joyride, and Subway Surfers, and all that. And I liked those games, but Angry Birds was the king to me. The king of all the mobile games. Nothing could ever surpass it, in my mind. A couple years later, though, around 2015, 2016, I want to say, I started losing interest in the series. Not that I didn't like it, rather, I was not, like, crack obsessed with it like I was when I was in 2nd and 3rd grade. I was in 5th or 6th grade at this point. And I think what helped with me being able to move on from Angry Birds was getting a Wii U at that point, and getting into Nintendo games. So I was getting into real video games, and these bird slingshot games, while I still liked them to a degree, they weren't doing it for me like they did a couple years ago. Part of that might also be because they started making changes to the original games that I wasn't a big fan of, like the having to buy the older Angry Birds Seasons levels with the in-game currency, and in particular, when the movie was announced. Okay, this one requires a bit more personal explanation. So, Angry Birds is actually kind of the franchise that got me into drawing. I would always draw little cutouts because I couldn't afford every single toy. So I draw little cutouts of both the birds and the pigs. Very simplistic cutouts, obviously. I draw them, cut them out, and then just play with them that way. And my sister started drawing them too, except she liked to give them limbs. Like, she'd give the birds bird feet and wings and give the pigs hooves. And that really pissed me off back then. Like, I was like telling her, like, you can't draw them like that. That's not how they're supposed to look. But I kind of knew she wasn't gonna stop, so I stopped fighting. But then when the movie's first trailer came out, and they gave the birds limbs and the pigs limbs, that was it. I did not want to see the movie out of protest because of that. And I was dead. And like, the fact that an official material giving them limbs, in my mind, I was like, don't validate her. Don't give her that satisfaction. Again, it was like 2016, so it would have been like 11 or 12. So I already, like, I didn't play the games as much anymore, but I still respected them. So I got irrationally pissed off at that. I eventually got even more pissed off that every single Angry Birds game had their assets updated to match the movie, and giving the birds limbs. Generally, it was only like the title screen and a couple of other pictures. The in-game models would stay the same. But that really got annoying. But even then, I understood. Like, okay, the movie's coming out, you're changing them up to promote the movie. Okay, once the movie's not relevant anymore, these will go away. These freaking designs took over the entire franchise for a good 5 years or so. And that was the point where I was like, okay, I'm done with this series, at least following it this closely. It's betrayed me. It's funny how that's what did it for me and not the money-grubbing tactics that the games would later employ. But I was a kid, I wasn't as worried about that stuff. But yeah, even after I had finally watched the movie when it aired on FX one day, and said, okay, I like that, that was pretty funny. And even now, I still consider that movie to be alright. I don't think it's the worst movie ever, like people said back then, or the best movie ever, like people say now. I think it's just your standard 2010s animated kids movie. But even at that, even after liking the movie, I'm like, these designs, man, I can't look at these anymore. I kind of didn't think about the series for a while, and then the second movie came out, which my dad took us to see. Well, took me and my brother to see, even though I was 14 and well out of my Angry Birds phase, and he was 9 and wasn't super into it at that point, but we still enjoyed the movie. We still had fun with it. I personally think the second movie is the better actual movie, but the first movie is the better adaptation of the games. So a couple months after that, it is now 2020, we're all stuck inside, and I thought, you know what, I kind of want to try those games again. So I get my new tablet out. I don't remember when I got that. Honestly, for me, it might have, well, it's just appeared. But anyway, I got that out, went to the App Store and was like, what the frick are they? Turns out Rovio had deleted a lot of their older games because... Now, some of them I understand, particularly Angry Birds Rio and Angry Birds Star Wars, because those are movie licenses that have probably expired by now and are now owned by Disney, so they're not getting those back. Then that begs the question why Angry Birds Transformers is still up. I guess Paramount doesn't care as much. But anyway, they later brought out a statement that, oh, it's because they're based on old app engines and they won't run on new apps anymore. And we thought that was reasonable, and so they remade the first game and re-released it, which that wasn't a perfect remake, but it was nice to have it back, only for them to delete that and just blatantly say it's because it took away attention from our other games. And cut to today, now they're owned by Sega. They've done jack squat with it, aside from put Red in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which I do enjoy. I'm a Red main on that game. And the third movie is coming out, being released by Paramount. I'm assuming it's because they make the Sonic movies too, but yeah, that's a little weird. So, like everyone else, I'm pretty disappointed with the state of the franchise by now. Rovio has made it abundantly clear time and time again that they only care about money. And yes, every mobile developer, every company out there is trying to make money, sure. But, like, Rovio made a lot of money while still making their games good. You can do both. Come on. Like, the franchise only got as big as it did because the games were so fun and addicting. And even the more experimental games, they were fun. And then all the merchandise, which, yes, you can argue how much merchandising is too much merchandising, but they were all pretty good. Like, the plushies were pretty well made, the board games were fun. You can make money and still make good art or good things. And given that Sega has not done much with the series after buying it, I have a feeling that Angry Birds will just fizzle out after this third movie comes out. Regardless of where the franchise goes from here, probably nowhere good. I still have a lot of respect and love for the series, because it was a huge part of my childhood. It was the thing that got me into drawing, so ultimately I can never stay mad at it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my rambling. If you have any funny Angry Birds stories, let me know. And until the next time I decide to upload, see you, viewer.